The UK has embarked on a significant shift in its immigration policy with the release of the Restoring Control over the Immigration System White Paper in May 2025. This comprehensive document outlines a range of reforms aimed at curbing immigration levels, prioritizing domestic workers, and addressing public concerns about the impact of high net migration. The reforms represent a departure from previous approaches and signal a new era for UK immigration with far-reaching implications for businesses, workers, and the broader economy. This essay delves into the key aspects of the UK's 2025 immigration reforms, focusing on their impact on jobs and the labour market. It begins by examining the context behind these changes, particularly the record-high net migration figures and the growing public pressure to reduce immigration. The essay then explores the specific changes introduced, including the tightening of skilled worker visa requirements and the introduction of the temporary shortage list. Furthermore, this analysis will provide a sector-by-sector breakdown of the reform's impact, focusing on key areas such as healthcare, social care, construction, hospitality, and agriculture. The potential consequences for international students, a vital component of the UK's education system and economy, are also examined. Throughout, the essay will highlight the potential economic and social impacts of these reforms, both in the short and long term, using clear examples and data to illustrate these points. Finally, this exploration of the 2025 UK immigration reforms concludes by considering the broader implications of these changes for the UK's labour market and its ability to attract global talent while addressing the concerns of its citizens. The reforms present both opportunities and challenges, and their success will depend on the government's ability to strike a balance between controlling immigration and ensuring that businesses have access to the skills they need to thrive. The UK's decision to overhaul its immigration system is rooted in a complex interplay of economic and social factors that have shaped public opinion and political discourse in recent years. One of the most significant drivers has been the sustained high levels of net migration to the UK, which reached record levels exceeding 900,000 by 2023. This influx, attributed to factors such as the expansion of the European Union and policies encouraging overseas recruitment, has fueled public anxiety about the pressure on public services, housing and wages. Adding to these concerns has been the perception, particularly among certain segments of society, that immigration has suppressed wages for low-skilled workers and made it harder for British citizens to find jobs in certain sectors. This sentiment, often amplified by political rhetoric and media coverage, has created a climate where reducing immigration has become a political imperative, with successive governments promising to take back control of the UK's borders. Furthermore, the economic fallout from Brexit, the COVID-19 pandemic, and the global economic slowdown has exacerbated these anxieties, leading to a greater emphasis on protecting domestic jobs and reducing competition from foreign workers. The government's decision to introduce stricter immigration rules should be seen within this context, as it attempts to address these concerns and regain public trust in its ability to manage immigration effectively. However, it is crucial to acknowledge that the relationship between immigration and the economy is complex and multifaceted. While some studies have shown that immigration can have a small negative impact on the wages of the lowest skilled workers, others have found that it can boost overall economic growth and create jobs. The government's challenge is to design and implement immigration policies that strike a balance between addressing public concerns and ensuring that businesses have access to the talent they need to thrive. One of the most significant changes introduced by the 2025 immigration reforms is the overhaul of the skilled worker visa, the primary route for non-EU citizens to work in the UK. The reforms have raised the bar for eligibility, making it more challenging and expensive for businesses to recruit workers from overseas. A key change is the increase in the skill level requirement for most work visas back to RQF6, equivalent to a bachelor's degree. This reverses a 2020 decision to include some RQF3 roles equivalent to A-levels and impacts an estimated 180 mid- and low-skill occupations previously eligible for the visa. This change is likely to significantly impact sectors heavily reliant on these roles, such as hospitality, retail, and social care, which may struggle to fill vacancies with domestic workers. Additionally, the reforms have increased the minimum salary threshold for skilled worker visas to £38,700, up from £25,600. This substantial increase aims to attract high-skilled workers and ensure that migrant workers do not undercut the wages of UK citizens. However, it poses a challenge for sectors where average salaries are lower than the new threshold, such as education, social work, and some areas of healthcare. To offset the costs associated with sponsoring overseas workers, the government has also increased the immigration skills charge paid by employers per sponsored worker by 32%. This additional cost will further burden businesses, particularly small and medium-sized enterprises, already grappling with rising operating costs and economic uncertainties. The government argues that these changes are necessary to prioritise domestic workers and encourage businesses to invest in training and upskilling the UK workforce. However, critics argue that the reforms could lead to labour shortages, stifle economic growth, and harm the UK's global competitiveness. The UK's healthcare sector, particularly the National Health Service, has long relied on international recruitment to address staffing shortages and provide high-quality care. The 2025 immigration reforms present both opportunities and challenges for the sector, as the government seeks to balance the need to reduce reliance on overseas workers with ensuring that the NHS can continue to meet the healthcare needs of the population. One of the most significant changes is the closure of the health and care worker visa route for care workers, effectively banning the overseas recruitment of care staff. This decision has sparked concerns about a potential staffing crisis in the social care sector, which has historically struggled to attract and retain domestic workers due to low wages, challenging working conditions, and a lack of career progression opportunities. While existing visa holders can extend their stay until 2028, the long-term sustainability of the social care sector hinges on the government's ability to make it a more attractive career path for UK citizens. In contrast to social care, the NHS can continue to recruit highly skilled workers from overseas, such as doctors, nurses, and specialists. However, the process has become more stringent, with stricter, genuine vacancy tests and increased scrutiny of visa applications. This could lead to longer processing times, higher recruitment costs, and potential delays in filling critical roles, putting additional pressure on an already stretched workforce. The government has pledged to invest in improving pay, conditions, and training opportunities for healthcare workers to boost domestic recruitment and retention. In the wake of recent immigration reforms, the UK is focusing on building a robust domestic workforce. This strategy aims to reduce reliance on foreign labour and create more opportunities for local talent. By investing in education and vocational training, the government hopes to equip citizens with the necessary skills for the job market. Additionally, there are initiatives to support businesses in hiring and retaining domestic employees. It's a multifaceted approach, but one that could have significant long-term benefits for the economy. However, the success of these measures will depend on effective implementation and continuous support from all stakeholders involved. As the UK faces a growing labour shortage, businesses are feeling the pressure. Many industries are struggling to find the skilled workers they need to thrive. This shortage is particularly acute in sectors like healthcare, construction, and hospitality. The government is exploring various strategies to address these gaps, but it's a complex issue with no easy solutions. Employers are calling for more flexible immigration policies to help fill these critical roles. Striking the right balance between attracting talent and maintaining control over immigration is a delicate task. The UK aims to be a global hub for skilled professionals while also ensuring that immigration levels are sustainable. Policies are being designed to streamline the process for high-skilled workers, making it easier for them to contribute to the economy. Yet there remains a need to protect local job markets and ensure opportunities for domestic workers. The challenge of balancing economic needs with social and political considerations is ongoing, Policymakers must weigh the benefits of bringing in skilled immigrants against the potential impacts on public services and community cohesion. It's a balancing act that requires careful planning and constant adjustment. The goal is to create an immigration system that supports economic growth while also addressing the concerns of the population. Looking ahead, the future of UK immigration policy will be shaped by both domestic priorities and global trends. The government is committed to creating a fair and effective system that meets the needs of the nation. This involves ongoing dialogue with businesses, communities, and international partners. By charting a thoughtful course, the UK hopes to build an immigration framework that is robust, adaptable, and forward-looking.